Hey everyone, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. I am taking some revenge on Dominoes. My last video on Dominoes was okay, but definitely not what I wanted. So I found this mold, which is so cute. I saw this on someone else's channel. I think it might have been Beverly's over at Custom Created. I'm not sure. If it was you, Beverly, put it in the chat, and that way everybody can go and watch your amazing video. But this is a domino mold, and instead of having the traditional numbers, it has little paw prints. Oh, how cute is that? And it's holographic. So not only does it have these adorable paw prints, but it's also holographic. So I cannot wait to try this. So why am I chatting? Let's go. Let's mix some resin and let's get started. I think this is going to be so cute. So I am using the Jade Diction High Gloss. It is, of course, my favorite. It's the one that I always use. It basically turns your projects into just shiny little masterpieces. And so why would you not use it? I'm using a colorant from, I think I got it on Temu, and it doesn't even have a name on it, but it is gorgeous. It's this beautiful like blue purple, and I added a little bit of crushed crystal in there too, just for a little bit of extra shine. And it wouldn't be a video on this channel if something didn't go wrong, right? So I overfilled that domino just a little bit. So I just took a stick and took some of that resin out. It's super easy to do if you ever overfill something. You can use a stick or you can use a spatula. You can even just lay a paper towel over the top of it, and then the paper towel will absorb some of that resin, and then that will kind of take some of that extra away. All right, let's super fast forward and let's move on to the good parts, the demolding, and then somehow getting some white paint into all of those adorable little paw prints. So it's been about 24 hours-ish, and they're still the tiniest bit soft on the sides, but I'll just be super careful as I super speed through demolding them. Look how amazing these are, though. They are so pretty. I love how holographic these are. They are blue and purple, and they have just this absolute gorgeous shimmer to them. Although I was a little surprised they are not as shiny as I expected them to be. I'm guessing that's just because of the holographics. I was hoping that they would be a little bit shinier, but that like color shift and the holographics is pretty spot on. There are a ton of ways that you can color in your dots, or in this case, your paw prints. And, I struggled with this, to be honest. I started out with a pretty thin paint and started with that. And I just was having trouble getting the paint down into the paws themselves. The paws are really deep on this mold. And so no matter how hard I tried, I would get them down in there, but it wasn't like they would ever get full. And so there would be these little gaps. And I tried micro brushes and paint brushes and toothpicks. Let's see what else. The little wires that you make jump rings out of. I used one of those, a paper clip, you name it. I tried it and I still struggled to get it down in there. I ended up doing several different types of paint to see if that made a difference. And no matter what paint I used, it still was it was a struggle. I started out with a really thin paint, and then I moved to a very thick paint, and both of them kind of had the same results. It was hit or miss. You would get the paint down in there, but then there would still be like little gaps where the paint just didn't fully settle in. I tried doing multiple coats. Anyway, so it was a struggle. I think next time, though, I'm going to try next time. Okay, I don't know who I'm kidding. I am never making dominoes again. Absolutely 1000% never, ever, ever going to do it again. But if I were to do it again, if in some parallel universe, someone very near and dear to me said, gosh, I'm really into dominoes, could you help me out? Then in that case, I think I would try some white nail polish. I I saw someone else use like a pipette with some white nail polish. I don't think that a pipette would work on this because the little tiny, the little toes are just too small for that. But I think if it's maybe a little bit more liquidy, it might flow down into some of those holes. I don't know, but if I was going to do it, I think that's what I would try to see if that would make a difference. Oh yeah, I also tried acrylic markers, so that didn't work either. Maybe if I had an acrylic marker that was thin enough, maybe that would work. So that's also a possibility of something that we could try, is you could try like a really thin marker. It's not the chunky part of the paw, it's those little tiny toes that I just couldn't get anything in there. So with these, and with any Dominoes, with anything that you want to kind of fill in with acrylic paint on top of resin, it doesn't matter if it's perfect. You can just kind of get it all over it and then just take a wet paper towel or a baby wipe, anything like that, and just gently, very, very, very gently rub it across the surface. So you're just taking off that top layer of paint, and then that will take off most of it. And then the next day when you come back and the paint is dry, then you could give it a really good scrub and all of that paint comes off and it looks amazing. So I feel like right here, this looks so good. The problem is the paint would settle in and then it would get kind of patchy, and then you'd go over it and you do it again and then it would be patchy again. But eventually, after much, 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 much work, it did end up working out. So I must have spent probably 3 or 4 hours just painting and repainting and trying to make sure the paint was in there. So lots and lots of patience is needed for this one, or at least I needed a lot of patience. But I think in the end that they turned out really good. And here we have them. They're all done. They're all done. And oh my goodness, I am so happy. They still need to have their surface cleaned. You can kind of see that it looks a little bit dull, and that's just because there's that extra acrylic paint on there. You can see like along the right hand side and even along the left a little bit that there are some of the white streaks left over from the paint, and all we have to do is just scrub that off. And you can see that the finish isn't exactly perfect on the paws, but it's pretty close, or it was at least as close as I could get it. So it's really easy to clean these, and by easy, I mean it doesn't take a lot of hard work, but it does take some scrubbing. You know how I said earlier to rub your wipe very gently across the surface because the paint was wet and you didn't want to take off too much? Well, now that the paint is dry, it likes where it's at. It's pretty happy in its place. So you have to put some elbow grease into it. So you definitely want to scrub hard. Now, if you have some stubborn places that you can't get it off, you can use some alcohol. Ignore the fact that I put on a glove because, okay, do not laugh and do not judge. This is a judgment-free zone. Alcohol makes the finish on my nails dull, and I didn't want to mar the surface of my nail, so I put a glove on. I know, that is so ridiculous, and yet I feel like I can just be honest and tell you that. After all, we're all friends here, right? So just take some alcohol if you need to, and you can just scrub off your paint. Sometimes you get some little stubborn spots. If you need to, you could always use a craft knife and just be really gentle and just kind of scrape off any of that paint that is too stubborn to come off. So I am literally going to scrub all of these down, and I will come back to you when all is said and done and we're all finished. And just like that, we are finished. And yeah, did you notice I checked out my nails to make sure that they didn't have any dull spots? I'm sorry, I should have cut that out, but I found it so me. So I left it in just so you guys could roll your eyes and just think to yourself, this is ridiculous. But these are all finished, and I think they actually look really, really good. It took a lot of effort, and they're not perfect, but they're handmade, and they're handmade with a lot of love. At least a lot of dedication and some tears and some dull nails. But anyway, thank you guys so much for stopping by. You guys know what to do. If you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you'd like to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button. And thank you guys again. I appreciate your support and the time we spend together. And I'll see you next time.